Hello and welcome to the Game Week 2 results and Game Week 3 intro to my team video. Um, so I'm really glad that this week is over. It was not a good week. If we scroll to the top, we can see I only got 31 points this week. That's like the worst I've done in any fantasy ever for a week. If you look through my team, it's basically just points for players showing up minus the cavalry defense that got the clean sheet. As you can see, Henry, 2 points for showing up. Tissot, 1 point for getting subbed in. Petrasso, 1 point for being subbed in. Pasquale got the extra clean sheet point as a midfielder, but other than that, points for playing the game. Aparicio, same deal. Becker got doubled because he was captain, same deal. And every single one of my strikers was the same. Farsi and Mavilla listed as defenders. Both got 6 points for the clean sheet, which was good. But it sucked. I had another cavalry defender, didn't think he'd play because he played the last game. Played again, so it would have been nice to have him in rather than Tissot. But yeah, the only saving grace kind of is that most people had this kind of week, unless they had Brown, who scored 2 goals, or lots of Valor players, which that's a team that a lot of people are picking on rather than selecting players from, but some people do have them. But those would be the kind of players that would have players spike in the rankings. But if you can see, last week I was 68th, this week 85th, so not even a 20-person drop despite a 31-point week, so I didn't fall too much further behind despite the number of points that I got. But we'll go through the team, starting with Henry. Forge didn't play a great game. They seemed very slow against Halifax. Halifax knew they were coming against a team where 1 point would be a good result. They defended really well and even lashed out and scored a goal to tie it after a penalty that Forge probably didn't deserve. A lot of analysts were arguing whether it should have been a penalty, shouldn't have. It seemed like a split for the most part. I'm on the side of Gareth Wheeler, if you look at Coast to Coast, where the keeper got his hands to the ball. Every keeper is going to jump, and that's going to be his goal, get to that ball, whether you're going through somewhere or not. He got his hands on the ball, I think, before colliding with Awuah, and I think, if anything, that's a foul on Awuah, not I think it's Bellevue, something. Anyway, it's French last name for the Halifax goalkeeper. And yeah, so Sabak is kind of lucky to get that penalty. I was really hoping Becker was going to be taking that penalty, but I guess it makes sense with Sabak being a Borges fill-in, and Borges used to take the penalty, so now Sabak is on it. And he could have also been a big point haul for this week if he scored his basically free shot right at the top of the 6 almost, but blasted that over the bar to stop him from getting 2 goals in a Forge win. So that game ended 1-1. Like, it just didn't. There's no energy for that game for Forge. It seemed like you can have 90% possession. That's great, which they did not have. But just kind of saying, possession's not everything. You need to create from it, and it just didn't seem like Forge was doing that very well. But they did get scored on, so Henry only gets me 2 points. Cavalry, they seemed comfortable in their game. They seem to be the most consistent team so far. Keep in mind their 2 wins. One was against Valor, who were kind of undecided on how good they are between their loss to Cavalry and their big win over Ottawa. We'll get to that soon. But anyway, Cavalry, they've beaten Valor, and they just beat Edmonton, who almost played with 10 men for most of the game. So Cavalry's done their job, no doubt about it. They've been consistent. They tied the other top team, which is Forge. But they haven't had to necessarily play, except against Forge, where they drew a full game against a good squad, I'd say. So we'll keep watching them, but so far they're doing their job. Farsi, again, playing well. It's nice to see that he's playing high up as a 25k player in fantasy, not really having to worry about being part of the defensive rotation that Cavalry has as he's playing higher up, and he started again and got that clean sheet. It sucks he only got the hockey assist kind of on the the first Brown goal, so it doesn't count towards an actual assist. But he's still playing really well, creating chances, not leaving my team anytime soon. Same kind of deal with Mavilla. I knew he'd start after not playing in the second game. The only thing that sucks about him is he took the penalty the first week against Forge, so I was expecting him to take it again as they got a late penalty yesterday, but because Brown scored the first goal, maybe they just had confidence that he was looking to score that game and gave him the second one as well. Tiso, who I'm getting rid of this week, 3 games, no starts, 1 point each time. It's just really unfortunate. Such a good player, and playing higher up, I'd love to keep him, but that's just a lot of money tied up in a player that I'm hoping to play and not sure. I have a friend who I've been talking about fantasy since the start, really into the CPL. He runs a team in this league as well called Forza Forge. His name's Peter. He's fully agreeing with me. We thought Tiso was going to be the go-to player, listed as defense, plays higher up, kind of like Farsi is right now. But he's just not seeing the field and coming on too late to make a big impact. He's kind of like a super sub that just hasn't broken through yet. And watch, now that I've dropped him, he's going to start next game. You can count on that, which is going to be frustrating. But it's just 75K is a lot of money tied up into someone that is not going to start, and that might end up as the same as Petrasso soon. We'll get to him, but yeah, Tiso is going to be out of my team now. I'm going to Petrasso now. Subbed in last game, so it looks like he's starting to be in the squad after not playing at all in the first game. I'm going to give my York 9 players one more chance. They have not lived up to the billing so far. They have this last game, aside from their goal by Rivero, they didn't look that exciting. Pacific's not a bad team, mind you. Like, they have good players. It's not as easy to break through them. As a team, I'd say like Atletico Ottawa, like they should have. But they played a very young team that game. So now, like, it seems like they're getting all the players in. Aparicio at least played. Didn't create like I wanted him to. But now Telfer, Aparicio, and hopefully a 90-minute game by Petrasso next game. That could be better. Facing at the start of the season, I would have said a weaker Valor team, but they potted 4 goals the other day, so who really knows? Pasquati had a chance to score, had a chance to assist, just missing a couple times. I'm not going to use one of my 3 transfers on him yet. I'm going to play him. My whole midfield is going to be the same coming up. I'm going to take a chance on Becker again, too. He played a little deeper. Almost seemed lazy. He gave up the ball poorly, didn't get stuck in, and that led to the Halifax goal. So didn't play with the urgency that I wanted him to play, like he had when he got the diving header against Cavalry. But I'm hoping that he can pick that up and see his mistakes and correct them. Coming in, he does seem like a pretty lock player, like I referred him to as the Kevin De Bruyne of the CPL. He seems to be one of the few Forge players that you see in the lineup week in, week out. But I don't think he's going to get my captaincy this week after the performance that I saw from him. That's just a lot of points to risk on a player that's sitting a little further back. I somewhat wish I would have got Sabak as he's playing higher up. I just didn't know enough about him yet to be comfortable with getting him, where I knew Becker definitely would be starting and already has had some impact on previous games. And looking forward, my forwards didn't do anything. Telfer, same kind of thing that I was just talking about, Aparicio and Petrasso. They just didn't look like the attacking team that they've set out to be. And Campbell hasn't really seemed like he's that prolific striker that he was last year. He's like his partner Bustos has seemed a lot more dangerous. Kind of better to have Campbell last week as neither of them did anything. But Bustos picked up the yellow card, but still looks more threatening. And the only reason that Bustos isn't in my team yet is because they have Forge coming up, where it's not only that I don't think that he's going to do anything. Forge is my team, so I don't want him to do anything yet, which could be a fantasy mistake, choosing somewhat of my heart over the players. But you can bet Bustos will be in my team after next week. But we'll see. I am dropping Campbell, is what I'm trying to say there. And the last one, Shaw, was just supposed to be a 1-week punt on them facing Valor, and I should have been repping Valor over Ottawa, but I did think that they had a chance by the way they played against York 9, but we see that when Ottawa doesn't have their full 11 squad, they struggle a bit. So Shaw did not do anything yet, and I'm going to have them as a team that I'm going to try to pick on as well when picking players. See on my bench, a late goal by York 9 drops Thompson at 2 points. I really wish I started Boskovic. He just would have been another 6-pointer, helpful to have in my other 2 defense. Sober Zemo, I'm just don't even care. I just want a 25K goalie to sit back there. And Carter I thought would be starting a little more, but just seems like he's a 1 point per game player right now. Not one that's going to be seeing my team anytime soon, so he's fine just sitting there getting 1 point for now. It's not going to really affect my team too much. But yeah, I dropped from 68th to 85th with that. 84 points overall. I really hope that this upcoming week is going to be better than this past one. Just going through the scores again. York 9 tied Pacific on the late header by McNaughton, 1-1. Valor with the crushing crushing victory over Ottawa, 4-0. That came after a red card from Atletico Ottawa. Really stupid play by Ottawa defending their guy, grabs the shoulders of the player on a breakaway, and he's honestly lucky suspension-wise not to get a straight red and still have a yellow on him. Instead, he gets the second yellow that leads to a red, will only be suspended 1 game, likely, and Valor still scores the penalty and just dominates them for the rest of the game after that. So, I don't know, one reason that I do want to pick on Ottawa too, they look very weak when they don't have their full starting 11. So again, they won't have their full starting 11 because of the suspension. So maybe they'll be worse because of that. Forge with, I'd say, a kind of boring game against Halifax. It ends 1-1. And Cavalry beats about half the game with 10 men against Edmonton, including a late penalty. That game ends 2-0. Going forward to the transfers and my upcoming team. The transfers this week are Tissot out, because again, like I said, too much money to go with one player. I actually saved 25k by doing this too. I bring in McNaughton. They play Forge this week, so I have no intention on playing him. I do think Pacific will get scored on, so I'm just going to sit him in the bench for now. Beautiful header that he had, nice and powerful against Ingham. They couldn't keep it out. Seems like more of an attacking defender, so that's why I want him in, but again, won't start. And then some forward subs. Forge seems to alternate Novak and Babuli week in, week out. So Babuli will get a 1-week game coming up, and this is against Pacific. So again, it'll be a tougher game for him. I think Forge will still score, and Babuli seems creative. He seems threatening up top. For me, if I'm the coach of Forge, he's starting week in, week out. Novak has done well as well, but if you want to start your best 11 each game, I think Babuli needs to be in there, and Novak comes in as the sub every game. I get that it's a quick turnaround for a game, so that would make sense that he gets subbed in, week out. I just think he needs to be playing more consistently. But he should be starting this week based on the rotation, so I'm going to throw him in this week. And then my last sub was Shaw, who is only set for the 1 week, and Ungaro is coming in. And I think I said that the last sub was also Campbell. Bustos will be coming in next week. But Ungaro, he's already faced Forge and Cavalry. He has good fixtures coming up for basically the rest of the season. I know he hasn't really shown what people have wanted to see from him yet, but again, face Cavalry and Forge. What do you really want Edmonton to do with that? I think they'll be playing better. I think their next 2 games are against Ottawa and Valor, so should have a little more to show, especially with Ottawa not being able to play well without their full team there. So maybe some better attacking returns from him. Telfer's not necessarily my best captain choice right now. I'm thinking that might be Ungaro right now, or a Cavalry defense. Just on rotation, I don't think I want to risk putting any Cavalry just getting 1 point subbed in. I think Ungaro will be starting, so he's going to take my captaincy for now. And then I believe Telfer will be my vice captain. So there we go as far as that. Henry will always be my goalie. I'm going to stick with Farsi and Mavilla for now. And then if one of them doesn't start, I can see Boscovich being subbed in later. So he's my first defender right there. I might regret it if all 3 of them start again. The midfield's going to stay the same. Sorry, that happened because I just set my team. As far as my captaincy goes, so yeah, midfield's starting the same. I'm going to throw in Thompson because York 9 has an easier game this week. I think they might get a clean sheet. And yeah, I'm sticking with my 3 forwards as well, my 3-4-3 again. Didn't work well last time, hoping it goes better this week, and that I'm going to score more than 31 points. And yeah, I'm not repping my Pacific players yet, so I'm hoping for a big game out of Forge, unlike last week. And just want things to go a lot different, because that really sucked last week. So I want to be different than all the other teams. And Ungaro is a differential right now. Forge players and Cavalry players, basically everyone has them right now. So those aren't really differentials right now. It's going to come from my York 9 players in Garo. That's where I can make up points on other people. So many people have Henry, so many people have defense that are cavalry, and forwards that are forge. So it's just about the right ones playing. A lot of people have Shoinier, he might start, so that'll kind of suck. But a lot of people have Becker, a lot of people have either Novak or Babuli. So that's not where my points to rise up the rankings are going to come from. It's going to come from the players that more people don't have, which are York 9 defense, and some people have some attack from York 9, but I think especially Angara will be a differential. So, and what would have been nice is a 3 clean sheets from Cavalry, because most people have 2 max. But yeah, the fixtures coming up are York 9 Valor, Forge Pacific, that'll be a good game. Edmonton, Ottawa, I'm hoping Edmonton runs away with that, and Cavalry, Halifax. Hoping for another clean sheet there, I think. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. There's my team coming up. You know my transfers. You can look on the Instagram page, canfpl_forged in fire. Hoping for a lift in the rankings. Don't like being 85th. That's just barely in the top third now, especially out of people that started. Want to get up, hopefully in the top 50 by the end of the week. But I want to get to 1. I think it's possible. I'm like still between like 25 and 30 points away from the top, so not out of reach at all. We're only at game week 3, but it is time after this to start thinking about game week 6, where we don't have any Forge and Cavalry players, because I think a lot of people won't think of that and realize that they still have 4 Forge and Cavalry players by that time, and that'll be a big week to try to catch up on points. So we'll see coming closer to that. Good luck in game week 3. It's going to come fast and furious, starting tomorrow and ending Sunday. And yeah, games are going to come really quick. I believe that the times of Sunday have been changed because of the Champions League between Bayern and PSG. So also keep note of that, because they're going to lose a lot of viewers to Champions League if they're trying to play Cavalry and Halifax at that time as well. So I assume also FPL will be changing that as well. And yeah, good luck everyone. Take care and talk to you soon. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that Can FPL will be posting this as well. Take care. Bye.